going on, guys? Welcome back. Today we are on day 14 of the advent of cyber, and this is certificate mismanagement. Now, this is something that many people, unless you've worked in security in like a corporate environment or an enterprise environment and things like that, probably aren't familiar with, because you probably have just done a lot of labs. And if you've done a lot of labs, you don't see the certificate management piece. And so this is where it's really important to see, because this shows you kind of the issue if you have a bad certificate management program and some of the risks involved. So biggest thing is what we're going to learn today. We'll do a little lore real quick. It's a quiet morning, town of Wareville, wholesome town where cheer and tech come together, right? McSkitty's charged to protect the gift scheduler site. So McSkitty is in charge of that, right? The service uses or allows the elves to basically schedule all the presents delivered in Wareville. She assigned Glitch to it to make sure it's secure. But Mayor Malware works tirelessly, hoping to ruin Sockmas by redirecting presents in the wrong address. Now, for the most part, McSkitty and Glitch so far have been really pretty on top of things, but they let this slide, right? So they have a self-signed cert. That's the risk. That's what we're going to talk about here. So we hear a lot about certs and their uses, but let's start. What is a cert? So you have public key, private key, metadata, right? So at its core, so if you don't know, there's asymmetrical and symmetrical encryption. So the way this works is you have a public key, you have a private key, right? Your private key stays on your machine. It's yours forever. Don't show it to anybody. Don't tell anybody, right? I gave it to you. It's secret. You encrypt your message to the server, right, using your private key. The only way to decrypt it is with your public key, okay? So it has your public key because anybody can grab it. So when I send you a message, you can grab my public key and decrypt it, right? When you send me a message, you're going to use my public key, okay? And the only way to ever decrypt that message, even for you, you can never decrypt it unless you have my private key. Well, I only have my private key, so no one can read it and validate it except for me, okay? So that's kind of how it works, right? So they don't really talk too much about it, but they talk about it a little bit. And then you can see the metadata has the key, includes metadata, provides additional information about the cert, the holder, and all that stuff, right? So sign here, trust me. So what's a certificate authority? Well, most companies have a third party validate that the cert is valid, meaning, hey, this cert is legitimate. It is signed by us. We are saying this is legitimate, right? That's kind of what it's just a validation, right? So it's not just, hey, I want to reach out to you, or hey, I want to talk to you, or hey, this is my server and it's legit, trust me, right? You have a certificate authority saying this is a valid cert on this, so you can trust it, and it's signed by that certificate authority, meaning they are validating it for you, right? Okay, so what this means is if you have a self-signed cert, what's that mean? There's no certificate authority. There's nobody validating it for you. So you might have a certificate on the site, but if it's not valid, then you basically might as well not have one, and I'll show you why. So as we go through, the first thing we got to do is we've got to put on our Etsy host the website. Now, the reason they do this in this case, and I'm glad they brought it up, because you see this have to happen in Hack the Box all the time. And I know why Hack the Box probably does it. It's probably to save them from having to have a DNS server or something. But here, they make a good point that it's not talked about a lot, is it prevents any DNS logs, right? Now, not most people don't log DNS, but it does prevent them, because you're not going to go to a DNS entry and say, to like a DNS server and say, hey, I want to go to gift scheduler, because that DNS entry already exists in your machine. So it avoids that step. So now we go over to our machine. You can see I already did that. Echo, there's our website, giftscheduler.thm. We got Burp Suite open, so it'll have you walk through Burp Suite. But first, we're going to show you. If I go to http gift scheduler.thm and you click on it. Now, I went right through because I've already accepted it, but watch. If I go here, see the security, it's got a little thing says not secure. Well, you go to more information and you look at the certificate. In the certificate, look at the issuer. It's them. Gift scheduler, TryHackMe is the organization. They sign their own cert, right? It's a self-signed cert, meaning there is no certificate authority, meaning it isn't valid, right? Nobody's validating it for you. So that means it's basically not there, because we'll show you why. So here's what happens when that's not valid. you get this pop-up. I'm sure everyone here has seen this pop-up at some point. It says, hey, warning, this is a risky site. Not sure that you should go. And everyone, when you have this in a company, what happens is people go to this site all the time. They go, okay, I have to click advanced and I have to click accept the risk and continue. That's what they always do because they have to get to that site. So what's that mean? You've trained people when they see a weird certificate to accept the risk and continue. So what that means is we can present our certificate and it doesn't have to be valid because you've trained them to just say, yep, good, good, good. And that's what we're going to do. So first thing, we have to get logged into the site. So we have Mayor Malware here. We go to the site. We say, let's start. We got to log in. There's our username. Our password is garbage day. And we log in, right? Now, it says, what do you wish for, blah, blah. Don't really care at this point. What we need to do now is, with his credentials, he can't do much but send a gift request, right? That's all I can do right now is send a gift request. But what I can do is I can set up a man in the middle. I can put myself in between the server, set up a fake cert, right? Just a self-signed cert, and they will click advanced, accept, continue, and they'll move on to the next step, which when they do that, guess what? You did not, you didn't set up that encryption with the server. You set it up with me, and I set it up with the server. So now I'm in the middle, right? So you got to open up Burp Suite. You can see I have Burp Suite off. I have Intercept off. They will tell you here that you need to start Burp Suite, new open, accept the default configuration, click next, and start Burp, right? So once Burp loads, number one, toggle off Intercept on. So it's already off. I turned it off. Prevent the users from noticing any delays in the website response. So that's why you turn off Intercept. Because if you don't turn off Intercept, you're going to get everyone and you have to click forward, and people would notice like it's taking 45 seconds to load a site, right? Then you open up the proxy settings here, okay? And to set up a new listener on the attack box, you do this. You say settings. You go to this and you add a new one. You can see it already has it. So we're going to keep it on port 8080. We're going to say specific address. That's our address. Okay. So there we go. Now we have it listening there. Right. And keep in mind, this is all local. There's nothing right now that's, yes, this is a website, but you'll see what I mean. You've run the script to have it come from your local machine. So just know that in reality, you'd have to manipulate it to be on the other machine, right? So you'd have to have a gateway. So now we can click the add button. We did that, right? Now we have to set the listening port to 8080, whoops, and toggle the specific address option. Again, we did that, right? Finally, we can click OK. The previous window will display. There you go. Mayor Malware rubs his hands together. He says, okay. So now, as we can read in the yellow box, so if you look under proxy settings, maybe if it loads, okay, maybe we will read it another time. I don't know why that one's not loading. Anyway, when you read it, it says each installation of Burp generates its own CA, its own certificate authority. Remember, its own CA cert. That's exactly what they have already. Okay, so you can import or export this cert. So if you were using this for not a pen test, if you were just testing something, you could import your own cert that's valid, and it would use that one. But that's not what we're doing here, right? So now we have to put in this gateway that we're using, right? Echo the gateway, and it's 10.10.175.231. So we open up our command line, just copy that, echo 10.10.175.231, and you can see they're two different ones, right? So we opened up this gateway. So now when we direct people, right, we're going to direct them to that gateway. And that gateway is going to say, okay, we're ready to rock. So now we have that. This will divert all of Wareville's traffic, usually routed through the legitimate gateway, right? They usually have a gateway. Almost every website's going to have some sort of gateway because you can't have a website publicly and not have some sort of balancing or something, right? I mean, you can, but it's just not as common anymore. So usually routed through the legitimate gateway to Mayor Malware's machine, effectively putting him in the middle of the requests. Okay, so in practice, the adversary can launch a similar attack if they can control the user's gateway. So again, if you got the gateway, and their attacks can easily succeed against websites not using properly signed certificates. So, give you an example. Many companies externally facing use HTTPS, but if you get internal, there's websites being hosted internally, right? Think about like intranets and stuff like that. There's websites being hosted internally that might not have certs. It would be very easy to do this attack internally because guess what? I just changed the DNS entry for the gateway, make it mine. Boom, here we go, right? So very, very easy. So now you say, okay, we got to go to this CD room. We got to go to this rooms, and this is the script that they run that will generate traffic, right? So we'll go in here, and you'll see there's a generate traffic. Okay, maybe. So change mod, X, we'll say 777. You can just add execution, but I don't really care. And then we'll say route elf. Why is it not working? There we go. I had the wrong back. I had a backslash instead of a forward slash. Okay, user requested intercept successfully. So now you can see if I go in here to HTTP history. Let's see if I can clear this history because this is all from the previous one I already did. So we'll just scroll down and see. Okay, here we go. Here's all the logins, right? Gift scheduler login. Okay, here's a post request. There's admin and password. So you guys won't have this many requests, but you're looking for post requests, right? Because that's going to be the form. There's Marta Mayware, and here's her password. So Marta Mayware, which is one of the accounts that it said we need, we'll copy that. And I think if you go down here, scroll down, it says, what's the password for Marta Mayware? There you go. Okay, so use the credentials for any of the L's to authenticate to the gift scheduler website. So first, what's the Snowball Elf password? So let's look for Snowball Elf. That's Snowball Elf right there. His password is carrots or something. So you can see, as people log in, we're intercepting the requests. They have no idea, right? Look for post. There's the password. Use the credentials for any elf. So we're going to use Snowball Elf, right? So we're going to go here. We're going to say log out, Snowball Elf. And there's his password. Should log right in. There's our flag. Copy that. Boom. Easy enough. What's the flag shown? Okay, so we need Marty Mayware's account, right? So he can finally access the administrative console. So that's what we'd want, right? So we go, instead of dashboard, we'll say admin. Maybe it's admin.php, or maybe there was, I didn't even see it, maybe. Nope, I didn't even see it. Let's see if we go back. If we log out and log in as the Marta Mayware. So Marta Mayware. Put the password in. Boom. Okay, now we're in the admin console. I thought there was going to actually be where you had to go to admin, but apparently it's just here. And we could cancel gift day if we wanted. Isn't that what Mayor Malware wanted? So we can cancel it. Now, do I know what it's going to do? I don't, but I'm going to cancel gift day because I am crazy like that. You fell for it. It was a trap. Man, we tried. We tried to cancel it, right? So manage gift requests, firmware update. Let's approve this thing. Actually, let's not. Let's deny this, right? Username is firmware. He wants a firmware update. We're denying that. He's not getting his freaking thing, right? So you can see, basically, it would train your users to automatically select that. They did a good job of explaining it at first, and then they had us run this script, right? They probably should have had us just go to the site on a different browser or something so that we could see it, because some people will have a tough time putting the picture together, but basically that script simulated users logging in, and what they're doing is they're seeing this, hey, this is a security risk, be careful. but because they've done it so many times, because this is their norm at work, right? Because that's what you would look like. They don't even look at what the cert is. The cert is actually our cert, not theirs. And they just validate in, and then we're good to go. We have a man in the middle attack. So while some people think that HTTPS is the bee's knees and it's forever, we'll never have to worry about this stuff anymore, this is actually still really common, especially internally. So hopefully you guys like this. Hopefully you guys have a great day. Thanks, guys.